up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for September 2nd, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Monday edition of the podcast, a Labor Day Monday. Happy Labor Day out there to everyone celebrating the labor movement and all our laborers out there. It is the unofficial end of summer today, so go out and enjoy. Just went to move my truck out of the driveway so my wife could take the kids to get haircuts. And it's got a little bit of a fall chill in the air. I'm kind of digging it. It is football season. We got live, real Eagles football on Friday. College football's first weeks are in the book. The NFL kicks off on Thursday. Fantasy drafts galore. I had 3 this weekend. I have one more. Before you're like, 4. One is a family league. One is a golf league where if you come in last place, you have to wear a dress. And then I have my 2 big money leagues. So not that much of a degenerate. Because personally, I can't focus a lot on more than 2. Like I have the 2 big money leagues that I really, really focus on. And then the golf league, ultimately, the goal is to not finish in last place and have to wear a dress. So I think, although I've had to wear the dress before, it's very easy not to come in last place. The year I came in last place and had to wear the dress, rookie move, I forgot to hit save when I was making a lineup change, and it cost me second to last place on the last week of the season. But always good to talk trash and get into fantasy football. But we are in the fall. I'm loving it. The kids go back to school tomorrow. Thank God. They need some structure in their lives. They've been driving me crazy for about 3 weeks now, despite going to camp. So, yeah, get them back. Structure, homework, all that other good stuff. Sign me up. All right, some quick housekeeping notes. It is the week of our 2nd anniversary here at This Day in Philly Sports History, and I'm thanking you, our loyal listeners, with an opportunity to try to receive and win a free Philly Goat shirt of your choice. All you have to do is interact, call or text the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531 and be a subscriber to the YouTube channel, and you will automatically be entered into the drawing. Getting some texts and calls already. So we might be at the point, if we get enough people, I will open it up to maybe 2 shirts, but be sure, call or text the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. Get anything Philly sports related off your chest. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, whatever. It's all fair game. And then subscribe to the YouTube channel at Jimbo_Mont for your chance to be entered into the drawing. You can also follow me on all my other socials, Twitter and TikTok at Jimbo_Mont, on Instagram at PhillyJimbo, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever you got to do. But get in on the Back to the Future voice and text line and subscribe to the YouTube channel for your chance to win a free Philly Goat t-shirt of your choice. While you're at it today, having some fun in the sun, trying to squeeze that last little bit out of summer, go check my boys out over at the Clash and Conferences podcast. I was a guest on the baseball show this week. Then the OGs came out with their football preview for this season, picked up right where they left off. I had a blast with the guys over there on baseball. They're doing great things over there, and that's available wherever you get your podcast as well as on YouTube. All right, for the first time in a little while, the Phillies have a day off, but they certainly earned it. I said prior to this 13-game stretch that minimally they had to go 7-6. They went 8-5. And the lead now over the Braves is 7. What an exciting game last night on ESPN. Castellanos walked it off in the 11th. It had a big game playoff feel to it with the crowd. They were into it. Aaron Nola pitched very, very well, I thought. And then the bullpen came in and shut down the Braves. And this is a good time for them to start peaking like that. I'm liking it. And I also said I would hold off on saying they were back until the end of this 13-game stretch. And even during the stretch, there was a couple times I was close to saying they're back. Well, I'm pleased to let you know that after last night's game, as well as the night before, they're back, baby. The Phillies are back. They're going to get it together. They got a little bit of breathing room. They have some time now in September to kind of get things right. They got already moved Tawan to the bullpen. Tyler Phillips is coming back into the rotation to take that spot, and they're really starting to turn it on. I am still concerned a little bit. Schwarber seems to be in a slump, and Bryce is dealing with that arm soreness. So maybe they give him a day off or two. I don't know, but I'm liking where this team is now as the calendar flipped over to September. I wanted to wait to see how this Braves series, but a 7-game lead feels a heck of a lot better than a 5-game lead. There's still a game up on Milwaukee for the 2 seed and only 1 game back of the Dodgers for the 1 seed. And while it's not necessarily something that's super important, it would be nice to get that 1 seed and have all series go through Philly, especially the way Citizens Bank Park is rocking. And I still think it's a little bit too early. Usually when it gets down under 15 is when I'll start looking. But just for those keeping score at home, the Phillies did pass a major milestone in the magic number department. They're now officially under 20 games, a combination of Phillies wins, Braves losses to win the NL East. So that magic number stands at 19. Not going to really follow or get into that until it gets down to under 15, just because there's a whole month of baseball left to be played. So it's still a little too early, but getting it under 20 is not a bad thing. We are so back. I'm so excited for it. We got Eagles football kicking off. We have a pennant race. It's going to be lots and lots of fun heading down the stretch here in September. Back to school time is here. It's still not too late to go to Philly Goat and do some back to school shopping. They have the new Jaws shirt, which is hilarious. Just a picture of Ron Jaworski with Jaws over it. I don't know why. I just cracked up at that shirt. It's awesome. They have the Go Phil shirt with all the Phils on it. These guys are just great with what they come up with over there. So go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. Take a look at what they have so you can see what you might be able to win, and then buy some other things and use that promo code. They got stickers for your kids' water bottles, hoodies, hats, pants, you name it, they got it. So go check out Philly Goat. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. All right, going to bring it down a little bit here because it's weird that a lot of the reporters now are starting to get into Brazil and they're not able to post updates because of the Twitter ban. So you're not really getting a feel on what's going on. And it just seemed in Sirianni's press conference yesterday, it's almost like he's trying to talk himself in to being excited to play in Brazil. None of the players seem like they're excited to do it because of, 1, going to Brazil to open the season, 2, all of the other stuff that's happening in Brazil between wildfires and Twitter bans and fear of crime and all of that stuff. And I have to be honest, it's Monday. The game is not till Friday. I don't have a good feeling about this game at all right now. I mean, as we get closer and I'm going to be able to see some reports and things like that coming out, maybe it'll change. I don't have a good feeling about this game. It's just I don't know. The players don't seem enthused. I don't know what kind of effort we're going to get. Like I said, Sirianni is the big cheerleader, but I almost got the sense he was trying to talk himself into that. I don't know. We'll see. It's still Monday. There's still a lot of time. I do think, as I mentioned last week with our NFL Eagles predictions, I do think they're going to be fine, but I really am looking at this as a very slow start. Like, I think going 2-2 in these first 4 games would be a win. As I mentioned, you got Atlanta after Green Bay, then you got Tampa Bay, or I think it's the Saints and then Tampa Bay. And I don't know. I mean, that's a tough, and all 3 of those teams are going to be battling for the NFC South, so it's not like they're going to be anybody to push over. The Saints might be the easiest one, but you're on the road down in New Orleans for that. So it's a tough stretch to open the season, and I'm not high on Jordan Love and the Packers as everybody else is, but I don't have a good feeling. And again, maybe as we get closer, that'll change. Let me know your thoughts. It's a good way for you to interact with the Back to the Future voice and text line, 267-495-8531. How are you feeling about the Eagles playing this game in Brazil? I want to be excited for it, but it's kind of like blah. So we'll see as the week progresses. Maybe because I still got Phillies fever, back to school fever, fantasy drafts on my mind. Once I'm able to focus, it'll change, but I'm not feeling good. Sixers news, they signed Judah Mintz, who played 2 years at Syracuse and then played this summer on the Sixers Summer League team. This is a great story and really one of those ones that would be good for like a Tuesday motivation / positivity. This dude busted his butt, played well enough in the Sixers Summer League to actually get offered a contract. So you got to love stories like that. And we're also a little over 2 weeks away from the Flyers opening camp. And this is probably going to be one of the most exciting Flyers camps that we've seen in a while. Anxious to see what Mishkov does and this good young team, Tortorella, work your magic and let's get into the playoffs for the Flyers. All right, today we're going to go back to 1979. And on this day in 1979, the Eagles opened up the season against the Giants at the Vet with a 23-17 win. Ron Jaworski threw 2 touchdown passes to Harold Carmichael. Be sure to get your Jaws shirt from Philly Goat. See how that ties in there. But the story was rookie place kicker for the Eagles, Tony Franklin, went 2 for 3 on extra points and hit a 46-yard field goal, becoming the first barefoot kicker to score points in the NFL. Now, barefoot kickers, when we kind of grew up in the late 70s, early to mid 80s, there was a handful of barefoot kickers, and their thought process was they felt it gave them more control over the ball. But there was only 5 of them that were legitimate kickers. There were some that were mostly punters. I remember punters kicking barefoot all the time. But like legitimate place kickers for kicking extra points and field goals, there was only 5. Ironically enough, the Eagles had 2 of the 5 on their team. That's Tony Franklin and then Paul McFadden. Rich Carlis, Mike Lansford were the other 2 full-time. And then back in 2002 for 7 games, Jeff Wilkins of the Rams kicked barefoot. But I read an interview, like it was an interesting research day for this one as I'm kind of reading articles and things like that. And Wilkins said he doesn't consider himself a barefoot kicker because when he did that, he was in a slump. He had the yips, basically. So he felt like if he heavily taped, and he's like, honestly, I put so much tape on that it was almost like wearing a cast. So I don't really consider, even though my toes were showing, I don't consider myself a barefoot kicker. Obviously, over the years, shoe technology changed. The players wore more of a soccer-type cleat that covered their foot but still gave them sort of the feel and the control over it. But for the Eagles' credit, they had 2 barefoot kickers, and from 1979 to 1987, both of their kickers were barefoot. They went right from Tony Franklin to Paul McFadden. Franklin did play in the Super Bowl against the Raiders. So he was solid for the Eagles. I think he also played against Super Bowl 20 when he went to New England against the Bears as well. So he did play in 2 Super Bowls. But that 1979 Eagles team, they went 11-5, went to the wild card round, beat the Bears in the first round before bowing out to the Buccaneers in the NFC divisional playoff. It was their second straight playoff appearance, and we know they went to the Super Bowl next year and lost to the Raiders. But on this day in 1979, Eagles opened the season with a 23-17 win over the Giants. Jaws throwing 2 touchdown passes to Harold Carmichael. Tony Franklin going 2 for 3 on extra points and kicking a field goal, becoming the first barefoot kicker to score points in the NFL. Just an interesting little tidbit. And I think it's even more interesting that the Eagles had 2 of the 5 barefoot kickers, and really it's 4. And it was just a string of barefoot kickers for the Eagles. Okay, finally today, our second anniversary special. We're going to take a look at second baseman. And the Phillies have had some great second basemen in their history. Chase Utley, obviously, Nat LaJoy, who is a Hall of Famer, Juan Samuel, who is not very high on my list, but is one of the better Phillies second baseman, Dave Cash, Manny Trio, who I know a lot of people my dad's age love because of how he played in that 1980 World Series run. Gene Segura went to a World Series with the Phillies. Tony Taylor is another favorite from an earlier generation. He's in the Wall of Fame. How could we forget Mickey Morandini, the all-time best Harry Kalas name of all time? Played second base, turned an unassisted triple play. And then a lot of people forget Joe Morgan, who is a Hall of Famer, played in 1983 on that NL championship team. Did not have a great season because he was over 40 and near the end of his career. But Joe Morgan, Hall of Fame second baseman, did play second base for the Phillies. And then, of course, now we have Bryson Stott, who slowly seems to be turning his season around as well. And to be honest, we'll say Chase Utley is probably the best. But for the question of the day today, and I'll recap yesterday's question of the day too, Chase Utley is not available. Who is your favorite Philly second baseman? Tony Taylor, Mickey Morandini, Manny Trio, or Juan Samuel? Or is it someone else? Another great way to interact with the Back to the Future voice and text line. 267-495-8531. Leave a voicemail. Send a text message. But Chase Utley's not available. Who is your favorite Philly second baseman? Tony Taylor, Manny Trio, Juan Samuel, or Mickey Morandini? I'd have to go Mickey Morandini if I was voting. But let me know your thoughts. No Chase Utley. Who's the Phillies bet? Who's your favorite Philly second baseman? Tony Taylor, Manny Trio, Mickey Morandini, or Juan Samuel? Yesterday, I asked you, in honor of the 2-year anniversary, what is the biggest sports story of the past 2 years? Slightly edging out Bedlam at the Bank, you said it was the Eagles going to the Super Bowl in 2022. Hard to argue either one of them. Neither one of them worked out the way we wanted, though. So it is what it is. But hopefully year 3 brings at least one title, maybe 2. We'll have to see. And then we're going to do a little bit of a bonus here and look at the number 22 and who has worn 22 in Philadelphia. Little known fact, Mike Schmidt started off wearing number 22. When he got called up as a rookie in 1972 for 13 games, he wore number 22. Pete Incaviglia was number 22. Michael Lorenzen pitched a no-hitter wearing the number 22. And who could forget Andrew McCutchen? Obviously, probably the best player ever in Philadelphia to wear the number 22 would be Andrew Toney. I know we talked about Deuce Staley yesterday, but Andrew Toney wore number 22, and had it not been for the injuries, would have been a Hall of Famer. And then, of course, how could we forget, no relation, but back in 1995 and 1996 for the Flyers, Jim Montgomery wore 22. No, not me, but my namesake wore number 22 for the Flyers back then. But my favorite 22 is probably Andrew Toney, but little known fact, Mike Schmidt wore number 22. All of this in honor of our 2nd anniversary celebration. Be sure to interact with the Back to the Future voice and text line and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get into that drawing for the free Philly Goat shirt. Let me know your favorite second baseman, not named Chase Utley, Tony Taylor, Manny Trio, Morandini, Samuel. Maybe you're super old school and it's Nat LaJoy. Let me know. But that is on the Back to the Future voice and text line, 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. Get anything Philly sports related off your chest. Phillies have a day off as they have a 7-game lead over the Braves in the NL East. On this day in 1979, Eagles beat the Giants 23-17 to open the season. Tony Franklin becoming the first barefoot kicker to score points in an NFL game. He would play through 1983 with the Eagles, who then drafted Paul McFadden, another barefoot kicker who kicked for the Eagles for 4 seasons as well. Be sure to go to Philly Goat, check out what they have, get in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Spread the word. I could not have been here 2 years later without all your loyal support. So let's continue to grow this thing in year 3. Let me know your thoughts on the Eagles. I'm not having a good feeling right now. And yes, it's Monday. I'm not feeling this game on Friday. But talk me into it. Talk me into why I should feel good about the Eagles on Friday. 267-495-8531. That will get you in. Again, I've been saying it all weekend, but be safe. Don't be an idiot out there. Be responsible and do the right thing. Enjoy your Labor Day, though. It is beautiful out there right now. Cannot wait to get outside, sit by the pool, and laugh at the kids as they have to go back to school tomorrow, because it's, like the commercials say, it's the most wonderful time of the year. They need structure, or else I was going to go crazy if they were not. But go have yourselves a Labor Day. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for September 2nd, 2024. My name is Jim Montgomery, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.